Hey, that's a new one.
Welcome everybody to the Connect Show. I am John and I'm so happy to be here. Tracy, how are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good myself. I'm excited. We're going to make this show exciting today, I think.
I'm feeling the excitement. I'm feeling the energy. It's got a vibe. It's got a vibe.
It does.
So what do we got going on today?
Well, we are, I'm going to welcome everybody in today. I'm going to say good morning and welcome to the show. Each week we celebrate small business owners like you and give you the resources you need to be successful.
And it's so important to recognize the challenges we face running a small business, and we have to support our community. I'm going to just look over there real quick. That's great. There's a few extra buttons here. Along with our weekly Connect show, Tracy and I will be hosting a new networking event on Fridays, and it's part of the Epic Business Connections networking community. So it's every 10 a.m. Central Daylight Time on Fridays.
Starting this
So it's
week.
every Friday at 10 a.m. Central Daylight Time. There we go. That makes way more sense.
And it starts in 3 days.
It does.
Today, our guests are Sajjad Hussain, who is a nomad business owner, CEO of Cause and Effect, and Dave Melenda, the #1 best-selling author of Positivity Polarity. That's a little bit of a tongue twister. And in January, we have our Fusion event on January 25th. You want to tell us a little bit more about that one, John? You're really good at telling about the Fusion.
I'm excited about Fusion. It's going to be 10 presenters, and they're all going to give a 10-minute presentation. And the presentations are going to be a little bit different than your normal podcast call or Zoom presentation. They're going to be very specific to our show, and they're going to give you an actionable item. And then we're going to have a 10-minute workshop where you can ask questions or do the action item. So think about it as a system where we're going to start off as we're stuck, or we're need a little bit more recharging on our New Year's goals. And at the end, we're going to be accelerating our business throughout the day with these fantastic presenters. So I'm really excited about Fusion. And it's going to be January 25th from 1 p.m. till about 4 p.m.
And we have some pretty great guests. I'm really excited to have the guests that we have on the show. So if you're in Zoom land today watching this, please go and like and subscribe to our other places like on YouTube and Facebook and stuff like that. And our podcast, you can find all those links on our website. If you have any suggestions or ideas for us, you can reach us at ideas@theconnectshow.com. And if you're not in Zoom land, but you're over on LinkedIn or Facebook, you can put your comments in the chat. And also go to bit.ly/theconnectshow to join us.
Yep, we got an easy link so you can join in the Zoom call. The great thing about the Zoom call is we have these great guests on who can really help you be intentional, like Dave said today, or live your best life, like Sahad, and we can ask them questions if you're on the Zoom call. So join us on Zoom. It's a great place to be. So there we go. Last year's words belong to last year's language, and next year's words await another voice. T.S. Eliot, great New Year's quote of the day. I'm going to go ahead and just turn that right off. And I think that's a really interesting way to start out the day.
Yeah, that is a good quote. And everybody's doing all the New Year's thinking and their resolutions or whatever you call those things. I never do them, but I do try to start out new things in the new year. I normally try to get more organized.
That is a good place to start. Look at that. Hey, little me. There we go. Speaking of, our quote of the day, we talked about last year's words being last year's language. This year's words has a whole new dialogue. Do you have, you say you don't do resolutions. Do you have something that you do?
Well, actually, Kim, our networking girl and my right hand, has talked a lot about choosing a word for the year. And last year I chose a word and she chose a word. Last year my word was big, and I did have a much bigger year than I did the year before, which was great. So I met the completion of my word. So this year, my obvious word was, well, if I can do big, well, then I want to do bigger. So this year's word is bigger for me. And I feel like it's lacking some creativity, but I'm going to stick with it because I think it's going to work for me. So that's what I'm going to go with. But you should hear what Kim's word and I'm curious if you've come up with a word, Jon.
Well, for a word, no. I heard Kim's, and I'm not going to spoil it, but after hearing that, I can't do any better. So
I know, I'm just
trying to get through every day with, doing my best, and, hopefully it'll work out from there. And maybe I'll put her word on the wall as
I think we should ask her what her word is. And I think we should go around and ask everybody if they have a word of the year.
Sure. Kim?
Let's get some ideas going.
All right, I'm here. I'll bring myself up right
Mm-hmm.
along with you guys. Hi, guys. So they're really making me feel like a lot of pressure with this word, you guys. Like there is so much pressure. I don't believe
you did that to yourself. I think
I did.
This word is
I did
crazy huge.
I don't believe in resolutions. Most people fail within those resolutions within the first days, weeks, months of the year. So I choose a word to live by. I wear that word on my wrist. I don't have my bling for my new word yet, but I wear it right here with everything else. I am really building up on this word. Can you tell? If you don't have a word of the year, Tracy and I are going to go over how to create a word of the year on Thursday's Think Tank. I'll link for that. Mm-hmm. So my word of the year is actually an acronym, and I chose EPIC, and that was well before the EPIC networking event started in Milwaukee, but it almost ties like perfectly. And so it's an acronym. There's another word for what they're calling these now. I can't think of what it is, but it is to be energetic, positive, inspirational, and collaborative. So where you guys don't think that your word can beat mine, it doesn't need to beat mine. It needs to be good for you guys. So It doesn't need to beat mine. I'm really, really driving on the positivity too, because I think so many people like really need that right now. So I'm going to try to bring the positive energy. I definitely want to be inspirational. I'm going to drive home on the collaboration. And of course I want to be inspirational. So it just all works together. So that's
really, it's like she's got 4 words in one.
I do, but I made it as one. So my word of the year will be epic. And if I have to describe it, then I'll do that. And life has been happening in the Knock House. So I don't have my blog ready for it yet, but you could join us on Thursday at 2 p.m. and I'll link in the chat for that to learn how to choose your own word for the year. If you don't like that, don't break a resolution. It's not worth it.
I love it.
Yeah.
You've inspired us.
Yes.
So you're off to a good start.
Inspirational's already working. I love it. I love it. All right. I'm topping myself.
There you go.
I saw some people have their own words of the year already. They posted them in the chat too.
Would you like to call them?
Tony has a word. Tony, you want to tell us about your word?
Yeah, it's integrity. And the big thing about that is we live in a world where there's so many people out there that, they under promise or they over promise and under deliver, and they don't do what they say they're going to do. So that's something I always pride myself on, is trying to make sure I do the right thing and I take care of my clients and my partners, and just make sure I'm just on top of my game, and just doing what I need to do to make sure that people are satisfied and happy and they get what they need.
I love it.
Yeah, that's a good word. I mean, there's so many good words. You wouldn't even be able to use all the ones you wanted to use in your lifetime.
That's why Kim has such a good idea by putting all of those ideas together. That really, I mean,
now, so Tony's got to figure out a word for each letter. Integrity. You're going to have like 10 words.
No worries. As people on this call contest, I talk a lot, so I can find plenty of words to fill in the space.
Absolutely.
Dave has a word also. Word of the year. You want to tell us about your word, Dave?
So yeah, thanks Tracy for that. So my word is intentional for the year. I wrote a book called Growing on Purpose, and because like we were talking about before, the show, we run into a lot of people that grow by mistake. So if you're driving into the office and you're already asking yourself, what should I do today, or what do I want to do? I think I feel like for me at least, I'm behind the 8 ball. So I'm trying to be more intentional and trying to have a purpose with what I'm doing, rather than looking at a stack of stuff and go, what do you think I should do today? So
intentional
was the word that worked for me.
That's
I
important.
love it.
Yeah. I might steal that from you for next year.
Right?
I'll sell it to you. Absolutely. Be happy to sell it to you.
Right? The naming rights. I would like to call on Evelyn O'Vilden, otherwise known as Mom. She's joining us today, and she has a word that she would like to share. Hi, Mom. You got to unmute.
Uh-oh. Yeah.
Hold on. Got her?
Here.
There we go. Oh, you muted again. You got to click it again, Mom. You got to unmute. There we go.
Okay.
There you go.
Times.
Hi.
Hello.
How are you?
Great show. Thank you. I wanted to listen to this show because I like your topics today. And I think finding a word for the year is really powerful. And well, powerful, that's a good word. But my word this year was, I thought about it really hard because I'm kind of in a dark place. And my word is going to be gratitude. And so I started a gratitude journal, and I'm committed to writing in it every morning and every night for this year, no matter what. And pasting pictures in it, or just expressing what I'm grateful for. I mean, it's great to wake up in the morning and know that you're healthy, or that your family's healthy, or it's great to wake up in the morning and see the birds at the bird feeder. I mean, simple pleasures can really make a great life.
Definitely. I was listening to a thing by Tony Robbins this morning, and he touched on gratitude, but he approached it in a different way that I didn't really think about. He said you should be grateful for all the things that you didn't have to create. Like you didn't have to create the roadways, and you didn't have to create all these things that you use every day. You didn't have to create any of that, but you get to just use it. Like, how can you not be grateful for that?
Perfect. Isn't that the truth? That's a great perspective.
He has a great meditation. So I went to Tony Robbins in 2017, which you know, Mom, and it was in Newark, not New York, even though it says New York. And if you guys have been to Newark, you know the difference. There's two totally different worlds. But anyways, Tony Robbins had this event. 14,000 people were there. And he did this meditation. And to touch on what you talked about, Tracy, he talks about being grateful for your heart for beating all day long, and for giving you life and oxygen and blood and keeping you alive, and like holding your heart and having that gratitude. But if you have an opportunity, look up Tony Robbins 2017 gratitude. It's a 20-minute meditation, and you're going to yell and scream during it, and it's going to be awesome. It's going to make you feel good, and it's a really great gratitude exercise.
Very inspiring.
Yep. Thanks, Mom. What else? We have
Anybody else? Anybody else want to share their word of the year? I can't see.
I can share mine. It's budget.
Budgets.
Yes. This year I'm going to budget, so I have extra money to upgrade equipment, do things for clients and employees and what I mean, just trying to now budget and move forward, possibly hiring a marketing company to help out, with our services. It just makes it a lot easier when you could forecast a little bit and, plan for the year ahead. And stop shopping on Amazon.
Oh, that is not going to happen.
I just thought I'll throw that in there.
But maybe you could budget your shopping.
Yeah.
You can only set a limit every month. You cannot go over that limit.
I've exceeded it. It's January 3rd. Oh, jeez.
Oh, geez. I don't think your budget's working out so well then.
Oh, I didn't start yet.
Oh, okay.
Tomorrow.
All right.
Anybody else? I think Al.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sure. Believe. We talk, but do we really believe in what comes out of our mouths? Because believers, true believers, are the achievers. So that's my word, because you believe in the things you don't see. When you're thinking forward, you're planning in your heart. That's where it starts within you. Without that motion and that emotion coming out, bubbling like a spring of fresh water coming forth. It's awesome to be believing in the unseen and the challenges of the day. Because with God, everything is possible. So believe.
Al, have you seen the movie The Polar Express?
Polar Express, long time ago.
Well, you should see the new one. I think you would love it.
Awesome. I'll have to check that out. Great.
It's all about that word believe.
Yeah, so many, there's so many doubters and negative garbage all around us. To be able to believe and go forth. And it makes you, all the other words, intentional. And with believing, your integrity comes in. That's been my word in the past continuously. So just going forth, believing, tying it all together. We're orientated for the future, what's to come. But without belief, you're going to be stuck where you're at.
I hear you.
I'm feeling pretty inspired by all these words of the year.
I'm fired up.
Should we move on to our giveaway?
We should.
We do have a giveaway today, guys. Kim, do you have can you put the giveaway link in can you do the giveaway video clip, John, or no?
Oh my goodness. Wait, I have no idea.
I will link it here. I will link it on Facebook. I will link it on LinkedIn.
Oh,
here we go.
He's got the giveaway video.
Okay, we
That's
are
awesome.
back. There we go. We're rocking.
So today's
rip.
giveaway. Oh, we have to tell them what the giveaway is.
Yep.
Today's giveaway is Dave's book that he wrote. And all of a sudden I've blanked out on the name of it. I'll go find it.
Growing on Purpose.
Growing on Purpose. Oh, you just beat me. It's Growing on Purpose. And he's going to tell us more about that book in a few minutes, actually, as he's our first guest. No, he's our second guest. But there's the giveaway link.
Yep, there's the giveaway link. Make sure you sign up. We appreciate your participation in the signing up process, and we can't wait to send you David's new book.
And you only have until 10:45 to do it. So you have 25 minutes to get your entries in, and you can enter more than once. But we'll be giving away the book after 10:45.
So we normally have a commercial. And because we're in the studio and because of everything that's happening, we're all across the world, and you're going to hear some interesting stories of why we're in new places. But to just tell you a little bit about Serendipity Labs. Serendipity Labs is a co-working space that is across the country. And there's 40 locations all over the place. And I think talking about this new year, one thing I'm really grateful for is having people around who are like-minded. We're all acting safe and courteous and everything else in working here at Serendipity Lab. So if you need to get out of the house and you're feeling like that's going to be a good part of your new year, stop by Serendipity Labs. And with that, I think we should meet our first guest, Tracy.
I think we're ready. I think we've gone through all of our stuff that we wanted to do before that.
Absolutely. And it was thorough. So welcome, Sajad, CEO of Cause and Effect Consulting. And Sajad is a top performing expert in vision setting and business operation.
He is highly sought after mentor / coach and sounding board for ideas and key advertising. He is also an analyst and broad-minded influencer, focusing on solving problems, mediating disputes, and resolving matters to ensure the ultimate project success. Sajad teaches his clients how to take control of their business and their lives by becoming extremely well organized, which is great for the new year, which significantly increases their productivity, which we all want, and substantially reduces our stress, which we all need. Welcome, Sajad, to the show.
Good morning or afternoon or evening. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thanks so much. So before we get started, if you have questions, so when we're talking about stuff, you think of something, you got a question, if you're in the audience, make sure you put it in the chat so that we can come back to it and we don't forget it or don't miss it. And with that, Sajad, can you tell us, you're on quite a really cool journey. I've just heard it secondhand from Tracy, but I can't wait to hear it from you.
Yeah, I'm on a road trip, 8,000 miles in 4 months. So I'm on day 18. I'm from Chicago. So far I've done Chicago, Indiana, Kentucky, Georgia, Tennessee, Florida, the Florida Keys, Mississippi, New Orleans for 3 days. And right now I'm stealth camping on a side street in Austin, Texas.
Nice. So how many days did you say you've been doing this?
I'm on day 18, but I'm doing 4 months, 8,000 miles.
You've done quite a bit. You've already been, almost to Cuba, and you've only been gone for 18 days. It seems like it would take longer than that.
Yeah, I got that picture, John. I have evidence that I was 90 miles away.
That's awesome.
So, Sajad, I find it interesting that you're able to do your job, your business full time while you're doing all this traveling. How are you pulling that off?
Right.
Internet anywhere is very cheap now. So the device is $400 and the service is $50 through most internet providers. So I have the internet everywhere I go.
And I would imagine that you must be using some of your organizational skills in order to keep that all planned out so you don't miss your meetings, or that is a lot to plan.
Yeah. So having the hour by hour schedule every day, and then knowing when I need to be settled down at certain points. And then anytime I take a break, then I'm on LinkedIn or some other social media or doing emails in between. And then I do phone calls while I'm driving.
So what does the rest of your trip look like?
So Austin, Texas, then New Mexico, Arizona, California. I'm going to spend a month in the Moab Desert, then Denver, Nebraska, maybe South Dakota, Iowa, and then back home.
Are you going to go to Burning Man, or that's in the summer, huh?
No, I'm not going to Burning Man. I'm old. I'm just really good looking.
Okay. Burning Man's on my bucket list, and I'm old too, but that's okay.
You can wear a costume, though. Nobody will know.
Right? I don't know if I'm going to go that far out, but I just want to see it. It looks cool.
The last time I talked to you, you were getting ready to celebrate New Year's Eve in New Orleans. How did that go?
I don't recall. Yeah, that was fun, but it was pretty crazy. Probably would have been it probably would have been more for me about 25 years ago. At this point, I preferred a jazz club with air conditioning and a cold beer. But it was an experience. It was fun to do it, and to have that done. It's I'm not doing it again, but I've done it once. I can talk about that year I was in New Orleans for New Year's.
Yeah.
It's crazy out there. It's totally lawless.
So tell us more about your business and how you help people. Yeah.
Cause and effect consulting is changing the world. I help people become extremely well organized, which significantly increases their productivity and substantially reduces their stress. So I run people through a 6-week business boot camp where I beat them with a stick. So we do branding and pitching packages and processes, ROI, CAC, mapping out the plan for the business, negotiations and closing deals, and the mentality of entrepreneurship, and the 3 keys of success. So 80% of my clients are birth to 5, 20% of my clients are multiple millionaires with multiple companies.
Good company to be with.
Yeah, all my clients are successful.
What made you decide to not practice law anymore and go into your own small business of doing coaching?
I had a tech company for 6 years with my little brother, and then I had my law firm for 4.5 years, and then I got a job as deputy chief of staff with DCFS. So I was 4th in charge of a $1.2 billion agency, and I was overseeing some of the biggest projects for the state, and there were over 16,000 employees and contractors. So I couldn't run the tech company and the law firm and do the job with the state. And then when I left the state, you're banned from working for anybody contractor license for a year. So I accidentally started this because I just had a lot of people coming to me asking me to help create or grow their own for a nonprofit business. And then, it just kept expanding and expanding. It kind of happened organically. I wasn't operating initially with intention of developing another business because I had already lived the life of an entrepreneur several times. And it's there's a lot of fantasy that goes into entrepreneurship.
Yep. If it was easy, everybody would do it.
Yeah, the idea sounds nice, but the reality is different. And that's what I teach. I teach the practical skills and I teach the philosophical, the paradigm, and what exactly it takes to be successful as an entrepreneur.
Do you really beat them with a stick?
Sometimes. So we do daily to-do lists. So it's hour by hour with quantifiable measurements. So you say 8 a.m. to 9 a.m., you're going to send emails. Are you going to send 3 emails or 30 emails? So if they go off of the schedule, which they create for themselves, then I beat them with a stick because I'm teaching them to be their own boss and to be accountable for themselves. You work 12 hours a day. You're off for 4 hours a day. You sleep for 8 hours a day. There are no weekends. There are no holidays. This is what we're doing. We're turning this from a solo practitioner thing into a business where you don't even have to work anymore and you make money, which I did before at my tech company. So if people don't do what they say they're going to do, they make up false excuses, they lie to themselves, they lie to me, then things don't go well. People hate me for 6 weeks. They're in love with me 4 months later.
So the schedule that you work them on is for 6 weeks, and then how long does that schedule continue? Does it is it a year-long process, or how long?
I'd imagine it should be how you live your life. If this is how you want to live your life as an entrepreneur, that you hold yourself strictly accountable all the time. I'd say about 50% of the people fall off. They think that it is that's a pain point now, John. They think it is a 6-week business development boot camp, and they behave in this way for the 6 weeks. And then, especially in the past month, there's been a lot of issues with the holidays. So people are only working 6 to 8 hours a day. And when you start to fall off, the problem is that you lose focus. So not only do you lose the time that you lost in not staying on schedule, you lose the momentum and the motivation and the energy. It's kind of like kids in elementary school. don't, you have, Tony P was one of my clients. Like when there's summer school for elementary school, you come back from the 3-month break and now you forgot everything you're doing before. So you got to stay on this grind. You got to continue to behave this way. It's cause and effect. So you're going to get the results of what you put. You're going to get the results of what you put in. You get out what you put in. So you don't have to do anything, but don't be broke. Complain about being broke and not work. Either be broke and don't complain, or work and get money. But you can't not work and then expect to get money. A lot of people want a magic pill. They want it to be easy. They don't want to put the time and effort in. I want to say one more thing here too. The paradigm too on how you think about what you do. So for me, I work 16 to 19 hours a day, but this is not work to me because this is what I love. This is me living my own life, having my own business. And so it's not like I'm working at McDonald's. So for my clients that understand that this is what they're doing for themselves, then that's a different paradigm than, oh my God, I have to work 12 hours today. It depends on how you're looking at it.
So you really are it's almost like you're training entrepreneurs to be entrepreneurs where they're falling short on their own shortcomings. And then you kind of remind them of their why and their causes or their reasons why they wanted to do this in the beginning.
Yeah, if you don't pay all your bills with it, you don't have a business, you have a hobby. There's a lot of people that feel a sense of overwhelm because they're really smart and they're really hardworking, but they don't know what's missing. So there's something that they're not doing correctly. They're blaming the outside world, but there's something in their process they're not doing right. Negotiations and closing deals, or their organization, or they're not showing value in their pitch. There's something that's off. And like I said, 20% of my clients are multimillionaires with multiple companies. And even for them, it's looking at the ROI and CAC. What are they doing with all their time and money? And what are they actually getting back for that investment of time and money?
Mm-hmm. I like what you touched on. If you're not selling and your business isn't growing, you're saying the wrong things to the wrong people. So you got to refine that message and a lot of times you need help from someone like you to help figure out what you're not saying right and how that communication is breaking down.
Yeah, what I teach my clients is always blame yourself for everything. And this, I think, relates to personal and professional life, that anytime you're in a situation that doesn't go how you want it to go, don't be the victim. Don't blame your husband, your wife, or your dog, or whatever. What could you have done differently? Because the only thing you have control over is control over yourself. So if they're not buying, that means you're not doing a good enough job of showing value. It's not that these people are idiots and don't understand the value of what you provide. They don't understand the value of what you provide because you're doing a poor job of articulating it. If you're not getting the money out of people's pockets and putting it in your pockets, that's because you're not asking for the deal. You're not closing the sale. So it's always taking accountability for everything that you're doing, because that's what you can control, which is yourself.
Mm-hmm. And I see that a lot, in the coaching business and heartfelt businesses. A lot of times that asking for the sale or that sales process is something that gets justified as, I'm in a heartfelt business, so we just don't do that. And it's kind of become normal, but it has to, the successful coaches are the coaches who ask for the sale and make the sales process happen. So I think that's a really valuable point that you're bringing up.
People want to be liked, which is the wrong idea in business. They want to be friends with these people. They don't want to offend these people. You're running a business to get money, so you got to get the money. You can't get you're at 97%. They're ready to buy when they say, so how much does that cost? I tell my clients, never talk about the price ever. Always talk value, 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 value. When they're ready to buy, they'll say, so how much does that cost? Because nobody's going to ask you how much something costs if you're not actually interested in buying. At that point, you're 97% done with getting a deal. And then a lot of people screw it up at that point because they're afraid of offending somebody or somebody not liking them. You say what your price is, you shut your mouth, and then you go through this song and dance of the negotiation of overcoming barriers and addressing pain points to close the deal. You're almost done with the deal when you get to that point.
Love it. This is great stuff. So Tracy, you put a link in the chat that we'll get all of our audience and myself, because I'm going to call you too, in contact with you, because this is great stuff. And I cannot wait to follow up with you and learn more about how you help small businesses.
He just wants to
And
get hit by a stick.
yeah, I'm a glutton for punishment. So Tracy, did you ask, I don't know if you asked, but Sajad, what is your next destination after Austin?
I don't necessarily know, but I'm headed west. I'm going where the butter
Nice.
melts.
Nice.
So all people jump on my calendar. I offer a 30-minute complimentary consultation. I'll spend 1 hour researching your website and your LinkedIn and anything else I can find about you. And I'll add as much value in our first conversation. And I don't do hard sales. So I add value. You hire me or you don't hire me, but either way, I'm going to add value to your life.
Nice. I love it. You can't miss with that one. And I think you're going to be really busy after today's show. So thank you so much.
Thank you both very much. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for coming on. With your busy journey that you're in also, that's great.
Yeah, I mean, we're all envious of your cool lifestyle of camping out in a street in Austin.
He has like the ultimate,
awesome.
he has the ultimate entrepreneur lifestyle, like
right?
Work and go and do whatever you want.
Yeah.
Oh, this is a tour.
That's a tour of the home.
Oh wait, you got to show your mate that's coming with you for all your events.
My girlfriend and my wife. Hold on.
Yeah, hold on.
There's the vicious pitch.
Nice. Got to have a dog on a road trip.
Aw.
So I can't wait to
comfy.
read the book of your journey. I think it's you make a YouTube channel, write a book, do something, because it's super cool.
Yeah, I've been doing photos and videos and taking notes. So yeah, remind me when we talk about Bob, the guy who manages the parking lot at Crack & Barrel.
Okay. That sounds like a great story. And we'll save it for next time because we got to bring David on.
Thank you. Thank you both.
Thanks.
Thank you, Sajad. That was wonderful. So who is talking next?
The networking report.
The networking report. Yes.
I know we're all out of sorts, all on Zoom here.
I know.
So easily forgotten, you guys.
No.
I didn't forget you. I didn't.
No.
All right. So today I'm removing Jon. Bye. I'm removing Tracy.
Oh man.
Bye. And today we are going to add, I just got to scroll on through, got to add Karen Willens. And Karen Willens has been following the Connect show for quite some time, basically since the beginning. I've been working with her directly for over a year, and she has a really exciting event coming up. So welcome, Karen.
Thank you. Hi, Kim.
Can you tell us, I got to scroll through here. Can you tell us a little bit about your business, Wellness Inspirations?
Yes, I'd love to. Thanks, Kim.
Mm-hmm.
Good morning, everybody. And I love listening to all of your words of the year. So my business is based on holistic wellness. Okay. So basically it would be holistic health, but taking it to the next level where it could be prevention also. I provide health education, nutrition information, emotional wellness, communication skills, stress management. It's all stress management, basically. I have a long background in the healthcare field as a dental hygienist, as well as a doctor of naturopathy. And I'm also certified as a facilitator for personal development. And I've combined everything that I do into this holistic offering to create a healthy lifestyle for people. It creates graceful aging. And I really enjoy offering a better quality of life to people. Some things that people aren't even aware of that are not shared in the media. So these are simple concepts to help achieve physical and emotional wellness. So I offer classes, one-on-one appointments, and a discovery call, and some other things.
Excellent. So you have an upcoming event in about 2 weeks. Do you want to tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, I'm very excited about it. I used to teach in-person workshops, and through a set of circumstances plus COVID, those came to a screeching halt. And I decided to do it on Zoom. I have so much stored in this little noggin here that I decided it's time to share it. So it's called Building Relationships and Trust.
Mm-hmm.
Know yourself before you sell yourself. So that may sound like it's for business, and it is. It's also for personal relationships, because in relationships, we sell ourselves too, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And it will help decrease your stress, increase your confidence, and ultimately it will increase your bottom line, your financial situation, to improve your quality of life.
I'm so excited that it's going to be so much fun.
I know.
I will link
going to
for
have-
everyone in the chat so you guys can all sign up for Karen's free class. She's not
Yeah, I
charging.
decided to make it free, and it's going to be a series of 6 classes over 6 months.
Okay.
And I'm a little bit like Sajad. Okay, I give homework, so you have to do the work. I don't
Darn.
sit on Zoom in the little box and say, okay, here's the information. See you next month.
Exactly.
I give you homework. We will also have the opportunity to connect with each other in breakout rooms.
Good.
So I'm looking for, people who want to make some changes in their life. A lot of people, that word change is a little scary. I think for most people on our Zoom, it's not so scary. We look for change and want to connect with other people, learn from other people. Every time we speak with somebody, we get an aha about ourselves as well as about them.
And that's why we're talking about it on the networking report, because she believes in networking and bringing it all together. There's one question in the chat, and it's really important. Tracy wants to know, do you also hit people with sticks?
Probably, but they don't realize it when I do, because I do it I'll do it with a Nerf stick, Tracy.
You're a little more subtle about it. All right.
I am.
All right.
Yeah.
Real quick, can you leave the audience one tip for success before we go?
Focus on your purpose. Know your purpose and connect with your heart. And that's the key. So a long time ago, my dad walked in the circus parade in Milwaukee. And it was a 5-mile parade. He was in his late 60s, and he was not an exerciser. And he always prepared himself to do this in really hot weather. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And I asked him one day, why do you do that? And he said, because I want to make people happy. That was his purpose.
Love it.
Okay.
Love it.
Connect with your purpose, and everybody goes about their purpose in a different way. Find your purpose and find the way that you enjoy doing it.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much, Karen, for joining us. I will be linking all of her information for the class to register for it on Zoom. It's January 17th at 12 p.m. Central Standard Time. Also, don't forget, we have a networking calendar for the Connect Show. If you guys have an upcoming event, please add it for free to our event calendar, and I will also add that link in the chat. And I am going to now remove myself and Karen and put Jon and Tracy back up. Thanks again, Karen. I got a lot of people to scroll through, you guys, so I'm sorry.
No problem. Thank you so much, Karen. That was great. We're going to put a link in the chat in just one moment. And thank you so much again, Kim, for a wonderful networking report. And
our next guest?
Yes.
Our next guest is Dave Melenda, and he's got all these syllables after his name: CPBA, a CPDFA, and a CPEQA. He is the founder of Positive Polarity, LLC, a Midwest-based coaching training firm that brings solid growth to companies from over 30 years of real-world experience, where he grew his business to 10 billion, I think.
Million.
10 million or billion? 10 million in annual sales before selling it. He speaks regularly at conferences around the country on topics that are designed to make the listeners not only hear, but engage.
And he's developed a formula for success. And we're going to talk a little bit about that. And with this formula, he's helped companies with their business growth. He's a #1 Amazon bestseller called Growing on Purpose. And it's a book that we're going to be talking about today. And it details the importance of both team and the customer and how, if treated properly, profit will follow. He also is the host of the Positive Polarity podcast, a weekly podcast that interviews awesome business professionals with amazing stories.
I'm wearing my glasses because somebody hit me with a stick and I don't want to show my black eyes. So
Nice.
So just so the show doesn't get in trouble, because there's been a lot of violent talk here. So
It's good to know you're staying on track then.
absolutely.
Yep.
So Happy New Year, everybody.
Happy
Happy
New
New
Year.
Year.
So welcome to the show.
Thank
And
you.
we really appreciate having you here. You're talking about, what you do. And before we get into the whole, process of how you handle a sales funnel or your sales process, tell us a little bit about what you do and your podcast.
Sure. Yep. So my Positive Polarity podcast, we're about episode 90 right now. And we interview every week, entrepreneurs from around the world. And our focus is there's actually a cool connection between business growth and personal growth. And so where that kind of connects is where we focus. So we talk to, I've had NFL players on podcasts, and we've talked about their career from a business perspective, or, renowned architects. We have a wide variety of people. And I think it's really awesome to kind of unpack that in 40 minutes or so and ask questions that you wouldn't normally, learn the answers to. So you really get a kind of an in-depth look at each individual. So I'm having a ball doing it, and I appreciate being here today as well.
So in your sales process, you talk about empty your sales funnel quickly.
Correct.
Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So everybody on this call is starting, 2022 with most of us have a fresh sheet of paper, and we're thinking, all right, these are some of the things that we're going to do different. And it's interesting because if you look at your sales funnel, pipeline, whatever you want to call it, the list of people that you want to have buy something from you, they haven't bought from you yet, but you want them to buy. And I tend to find a lot of sales professionals have all these names in there. Some people they might not have talked to in years. There's just, it just tends to get really sticky and really cloudy and just kind of murky. So my suggestion is to really try and empty that funnel. I would much rather have people, and even for myself, I focus on like my 10 most wanted. That's what I call it. And that's, the 10 people that if I could have on this call, or if I could stop into a restaurant and they'd be sitting there, I focus on those people. And then I try and be intentional, like we talked about earlier. And then how can I connect with them? What's some value that I can add for them? What are some things that I could do right now that they'd be like, oh my gosh, when I love connecting dots. And when somebody says, like somebody on the call said that they were thinking about finding a marketing company. I have like 3 or 4 that popped in my mind. I'm like, oh, I got 3 or 4 great people that you need to meet. So that's the kind of thing about intentionality and about emptying that funnel is if we work harder on, less people, I think our success goes way up. It's hard to have 100 people in your funnel when you can't touch each one on a consistent basis.
Do less better. That's one of my sayings, and I think that's a great fits very good in sales, because I think in sales we're thinking about how can we get 100,000 people into our funnel so that we can run them through this, click funnel and get our gold record on the wall. You talk a little bit about the emotion of sales, and I think that's really important.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thing to touch on.
Yeah, for sure. We all have a hard time, after we lose a sale. I know I've been training sales professionals professionals for years and years, and it's so funny when you hear somebody that lost a big deal, you know, they get really emotional. It's hard not to, right? But if you take the emotion out of it, you know, don't beat yourself up, you know, don't get down on yourself, jump right back in and continue. Your success is way better than if you live in that I'm no good, maybe I shouldn't be doing this, you know, mentality there. You know, Tracy talked about being positive. What a great spot to be positive is right after you lose one of your sales you thought for sure you're going to get. Hopefully none of us have had that yet this year. We're only 2 days in, right? But we're all going to have that this year. I hate to break it to you. We're going to have a disappointment in the sale. And the reality is if we take the emotion out of it, look at it for what it is and jump right back in. And, you know, I encourage people, when you lose a sale, make a call right away as soon as you can, just to erase what's been going on there.
I took a flip. I try to flip approach everything. So part of my sales process is knowing that I'm going to get 20 no's for 1 yes, or 20 no's for 3 yeses. And so if I get a no, then I can say, all right, I got one of those no's out of the way, and now I can just keep going. And I know I just got to call more people. And I know we're talking about doing less better, but you know, there is going to be a certain amount of people who say yes, and then when it says, you know, give me the check, it's going to be, well, you know, something happened, you know, not going to do that.
Yep.
So get those no's out of the way so you can get to the yeses.
Yep. I mean, the only people that live in the world of being wrong more than they're right in my world are like meteorologists, right? They can be wrong all the time and still get paid. Unfortunately, sales professionals don't have that, you know, success. So we have to come up with some ways to, you know, combat that. And like you said, you know, if you got to go for 19 no's to get to your 1 yes, then you know what, that's what your, you know, reality is. So.
So your next process in your whole sales funnel process is to listen more.
Yeah, isn't it crazy that we have to talk about that as adults? But I tell you what, it's amazing to me when I go around the country and talk to people, their listening skills. You know, I do listening skills training. And at the beginning of the listening skills training, whether it's live or on Zoom, I ask the question, how many of you are good listeners? And I tell you what, the vast majority of people raise their hand, right? And my next book I'm working on is called Business Blind Spots, because it talks about blind spots where we don't know that we have them. And I think listening is one of those pieces. And I've watched, whether it's in calls where I'm watching on live or I'm watching, you know, on video, I've seen, you know, sales professionals interrupt the prospect, interrupt the customer, and they have no clue that they're even doing it. So hopefully a couple things there from a listening perspective. Hopefully you, as the sales professional, are talking way less than the customer, because the old adage of whoever's talking is buying is probably a pretty accurate statement. And for most of us, so I try and ask open-ended questions that allow them to answer in more than a yes or a no. But I think the bigger and the deeper piece is really more of, you know, I think we have to seek, when we're in communication, our goal is always to kind of dump our information. And I think we should switch that goal around. And, you know, Stephen Covey said, you know, seek first to understand and then be understood. You know, we have it backwards. We come into a sales process and I got all this in my head. I got to dump out to you, this data dump I got to do. You know, I don't care you're having a bad day. I don't care that your meetings got pushed and you're really crushed for time. I don't care. I got this. I got to make my quota. And I think that's where we get messed up. So if you intentionally, even today, you know, think about the next time you talk to a customer, think about seeking first to understand them, and then wait until you can do professionally, be understood by them. And again, I just think that we have that backwards. And what ends up happening too is, the funny thing is then we start to, like in a sales process, we formulate our answers way too soon. You know, we, as a customer's talking, we are formulating our response as they're talking, and we're missing what they're saying.
Oh,
And I
I'm
know for
guilty
like,
of that.
yeah, you guys as hosts, it's hard because we hate dead air. We hate silence, even in a sales call. So we feel like we have to always be talking. And I just encourage people to slow down. If you really want to make yourself vulnerable, videotape yourself in a sales presentation. Do some, you know, we hate role playing. Okay. We hate that, but we are okay with the word practice. So go ahead and practice with somebody, but make sure that you watch, and it's amazing. I do this with clients, and we videotape them, and even their responses to me, and we play them back, are crazy. So do yourself a favor this year and videotape yourself in a presentation somehow. Find a way, whether it's, you know, a mock one or whatever, but that's just a huge way to really look at your listening skills.
That is such good information. I love where we're going with this today.
Well,
So
thanks
then-
for being honest about that, Tracy, because again, that's a big blind spot. Most people are like, I don't struggle with that. Next.
Oh,
you know,
I do it all the
and-
time. I think like when you're talking, I'm thinking about, well, what's the next question I want to ask you? I'm not
Exactly.
even, I'm taking
Right.
it all in, but then I quickly start to move with the information because it's either interesting enough to me that now all of a sudden I got more questions that I want to ask. And
Right. And
Yeah.
when you're not listening to a customer, like Sajad said before, buying signals, you know, they'll give you those buying signals. And if you miss them because you're busy formulating your next question, that's where, again, we as sales professionals, we have such an opportunity to improve. I mean, I've heard it's the government's fault, it's the sales, you know, the buyer's fault. I've heard it's everybody's fault, the weather, you know, the company, the government. I've heard it all. And very rarely do people say, my gosh, it's my fault. How can I improve? And so that's, I think, one of the things that we can work on in 2022.
there's a trend here today.
Yes.
The trend is it's all on you. You can't blame
Yep.
everybody else. Yeah.
Exactly. Yep. It's fun
Yeah,
to do though, right? Isn't it fun to blame others? I mean, it's totally the easy way out, but it's really not, you know, the successful way to do that. And again, that's why I wrote Growing on Purpose, was because we run into so many people growing by mistake. And I want people to be intentional on their growth.
And, you know, we've talked a lot about clarity and, you know, getting clear with our goals and our mindset sections previously, and having that clarity of what you are doing and what you're selling. That's the first step. And then when you are doing the sales process, taking that personal responsibility, like you said, of sitting in the mirror and seeing how you look, or sitting on video and then analyzing how you look and how you present, your clarity is going to come across in that presentation. The clarity and confidence in where you're going and how you can add value. All of those things are going to come out in that sales process, and your customers are going to see it and feel it. And that's where you're going to get the sale.
Absolutely.
So, you know, we've done our video, and we've improved our sales process, and we're listening more. Now the call is over. You know, how does that follow-up process look like? And tell us about that.
Absolutely. So, and that's the other thing is, you know, statistics show that about half of our competition don't even follow up with our customer, our client, our prospect, whatever. So if you're on this call today and you have outstanding quotes or opportunities, relationships, whatever, don't wait for them to call you. You know, and it's two simple things that I do is I just ask somebody, hey, if we end a call, I want to know what the next step is. And if there's no next step, that's great. If there is a next step, then I want to know what's the best way for me to communicate with you. So, you know, John, if you and I were going to set up another call, I'd say, you know, what's the best way for us to do that? Do you like, you know, Zoom? Do you like in person? You know, give them a choice. And I tell you what, here's where the gold is as we land this plane today. What I do then, let's say John and I have a meeting scheduled 2 weeks from today. What I do then is I go back to my office and I jump on my computer and I send him a calendar invite. And if that then gets accepted, now I am on his calendar. And that's what I want to be. I want to be on John's calendar for 2 weeks from today. It's sitting there. If he doesn't respond, then we know there's probably not a real solid next step. But if he responds and hits accept, boom, we have a next step and a real good opportunity.
And then prepare for that next step. I've seen a lot of people show up for that follow-up call, and they're like, "Oh, what were we talking about? Let me," it's like, print it out, have a sheet ready for you, and when you show up like you know what you're doing and crush it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And listen.
Yep, and listen. And the last thing, just a quick statistic, which is crazy. They took a poll on sales professionals, and they said, "Do you think that your sales approach differentiates you from your competition?" So they just, imagine us polling everybody on the call. Do you guys think your sales approach differentiates you? Well, 75% of the people that took the poll said, yes, they do. Well, the pollsters thought, that seems a little bit high, right? So we're going to redo this, but now we're going to ask the customer. And when they asked the customer, that 75% went to 3%.
Yeah.
So technically only 3% of customers think that your approach is different. So one thing to do in 2022 is differentiate your sales approach, and I'd love to help if you need it.
The sales process is representing part of what you are and your process. And I see a lot of people put, I have all these things that I do in the process and the service, but then when it comes to the sales approach, it's like, this wonky little thing, this the whole deal is how you're presented to the client. This has been fantastic. I'm going to make some calls today. I'm doing
Absolutely.
it.
Hopefully
He's
we all
pumped.
are.
He's excited.
I am.
And then you can hit yourself with a stick if you don't do it.
Gosh,
Tracy's
I think got this aversion to a stick. I don't get it.
Right. I don't know if I want you back in the studio. Maybe you should stay home for a while longer.
You have to hit yourself with a stick, not me.
Oh, okay. I don't know if you're gonna. Next week's show is going to be a lot different. Let me tell you.
Yeah, I'm wearing my glasses again. I can't take it anymore. So.
Yes.
Dave, we have 11 entries for the giveaway today.
Everybody gets one.
It's an Oprah moment, you guys.
It's a brand new year, so
Gets
everybody gets a book. Okay. All I need is a mailing address, so we'll work that out. But don't give me a PO box because they do not deliver, and I do not end up stalking you. So just give me a street address where I can deliver the book or mail it to. I'm sorry, and I will get those all out.
We'll get those all in one list for you, Dave, and we will send that to you. How does that sound, Tracy and John?
That sounds great.
If they want to send that to me, we'll make sure to get that to you.
Excellent.
So we'll get that all in one spot.
Great.
So that was very inspiring. Thank you so much, David. I really appreciate it. And I didn't mean to be distracted there.
He's writing himself a note.
No worries.
Yes, I am. Hopefully I can have a surprise for everybody coming up here with that note.
Awesome. Well, I think that just about wraps up our show today.
It does. This has been great. Is everybody fired up? Let's do a little.
I know there was some energy in this room today.
Yeah, we got a little. Who's going to do some sales today? Yeah, rocking. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I am. Definitely. I think we need that Tony Robbins music and do the dancing thing like they do. We talked about this, but maybe next show. Okay.
Maybe if people want to talk for a minute while people are sending their addresses in, just if anyone has any last comments. I know we're over, but the addresses are piling in, so I don't want anyone to miss their opportunity.
Yep. If anyone has any questions or comments, we'd love to give you that opportunity.
Mm-hmm. Next week, who do we have next week? I'm going to look.
Graphic. Wait.
Randy Pazer.
There we go. Yes, next we have Roy Dickin and Randy Pizer, and it is, Next Step Sales. Randy is going to talk about writing a book, and Roy is all about marketing, and it's going to be fantastic.
And then the following week, we have Paul Newberger and Eric Thompson, who are both into sales also. So we have sales all month. And then we've got Fusion. It's a big month.
It's going to be big, bigger than US Steel.
I have to say thank you, Dave, as part of the giveaway, girl, to give that to everyone. What a great way to start the new year off. That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Kim, you were gonna. I was just nervous that Tracy would hit me with a stick, so I'm like, the least thing I can.
I don't hit people with sticks.
Eliminate that. So.
She said that she's gonna send. I mean, Sajad is driving everywhere. He's gonna come. Sajad is gonna come find you with the stick.
Yeah.
It's his thing, so he's gonna come find you.
I am
Tracy's sending him your way.
I am so
You know-
many royalties today from this phone call.
What?
I'm owed a lot of royalties on this phone call.
I think so.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, you
and
did.
Tony, I want to hear from Tony. He raised his hand earlier in the show, and he's got some information about this stick.
Yeah, well, the reason I was raising my hand was I was going to say that, yeah, Sajad's beat me with a stick quite a few times. And, it's been a while, so my bruises have healed, but lesson learned. But just a quick shameless plug for Sajad and then one for myself. So Sajad, he toughened me up. That's really what he did for me, because I'm really, really nice and I'm a people pleaser. And he taught me how to be more diligent and with my time and how to focus on what's important and what's going to make money and what's not going to make money, and how to put things off that are not as important, because I just want to make everybody happy. I'm like a freaking dog, I'm just always happy to be there. And I just want to make people smile and laugh. And he taught me that, hey, you can turn that on and off. There's times to be the fun guy and there's times to like get stuff done. And that's helped me out a ton, because I just want to make people happy. And he just taught me that, hey, you gotta make money first, you can make people happy whenever you want. So that's really helped out a ton. So Sajad, thank you. And there's quite a few other things, but that's probably one of the biggest lessons he taught me. And also to be able to take things that are not as important now and put them off to like next week or a week later, because you got to focus on the important things that have to take place ASAP. And then the shameless plug that I want to put in is I got a virtual event tomorrow night, Wednesday the 5th at 7:00 Central. I'll probably have 50 people on there, and I haven't done one in like 2 months, so it'll be the first time I've done in a while. And the featured guest is my fitness and nutrition coach, Sean Pierce, who on 2 separate occasions has helped me drop 50 pounds. First 6 years ago, and once and a year ago, put on some COVID weight, and he got me back in the gym and got me back in gear. So he's going to do like a New Year's resolution, kind of, hey, here's tips and what to do to how to drop weight and get back in shape, get back in the gym, eat right, et cetera, et cetera. So thank you for letting me chat. And I dropped my link tree here. So if anybody wants to join, just click on that, and the Eventbrite link and Zoom link for tomorrow night is in there.
And I have to add to your shameless plug. I went to his virtual event that he had 2 months ago, and that is where I met Sajad and asked him to be on the show. And that is also where I met Mike Verrett, who is also a co-host on one of my events at Small Business Milwaukee every month now. So
Yeah.
Great connections over at Tony P Productions.
Yeah, networking works, doesn't it?
Right?
It does.
Thank you.
I've registered for your event and I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait to see that. So
I think that about ends.
I think
our
we're
show
good.
today.
Yeah.
Okay.
should I play our fantastic, our new outro?
You have a new outro?
Well, it's the same as the intro.
Oh. Well,
But-
thanks for coming, everybody.
Yes.
Thanks
Thank you,
for our
everybody.
speakers.
Thank you, everybody. And
Thank
I cannot
you.
wait to see you next week. And thank you for all the inspiration from everybody, as well as from our speakers and our guests today. And we just so appreciate it.
Thank you all
Thank
very
you,
much.
everyone. See you next
ya.
week.
All right.
All right. Bye, guys. Have a good day. I'm so excited to meet John's mom.
How cool. How cool.
Look,
He
it's like
says that
there's
you
two
have
of
you have a bakery business. You're doing a lot of cooking, and you did that Christmas event too outside. That sounded
Christmas
exciting.
event. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm still recuperating, Tracy. I don't
Oh,
know if
geez.
I'll do it again.
Mm.
But no, it was wonderful. A Chris Kindle market in some antique grounds in Sister Bay in the buildings. And we had thousands and thousands of people. It was just amazing. This show was so fantastic today. I can't even tell you. I'm just like, it's like everything I needed to hear today and more. And your guests are wonderful and you're great hosts. And it's just, oh my gosh, I can't believe so much energy can come out of a computer screen. I just feel so blessed to be able to be here today and listen to this.
Aw.
Good job,
I have to
guys.
agree. It was great.
You have a great mom, John.
Mhm.
I think so. I think so.
All right. Well, have a
Yeah.
good day, everybody.
You as well.
Okay.
Hi,
And
thanks for coming.
put my address in, Kim.
All right.
Yeah, I can't believe we're going to get a book. Oh, I'm so
It's so great,
Yeah.
right?
Be at the right place at the right time. You never know what can happen.
good
Right?
way to start the year.
Heck
Thanks,
yeah.
guys. You're doing a wonderful job.
Thanks.
Thanks, Mom.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Boy, I got to get my mom to come.
I'm sure she would.
I didn't know she was
would
coming.
not.
She just popped in and was like, "Hey, I'm here." It's like, cool. So
Is that
was
weird
fun.
having your mom watch all your stuff that you're doing, or did it make you a little nervous, or are you totally comfortable?
No, in the like a year and a half ago, I was really like didn't know what I should do. I felt like just really like out of place that my mom was there. But now it's like I just embrace it and love it. So
That's nice.
I think it's pretty cool that she showed up. That's
Yeah,
pretty neat.
I agree. She does bring a lot of positivity. She seems like a very positive person.
She is. Yeah, definitely. Well, we made it through maybe our best show ever
I think so.
with a couple of challenges. I still don't know what's wrong, but maybe this week, Tracy will, if we have time, you and I at least should jump on the vMix, and then if Kim, you can jump in too, we'll do like a
Try to
little
get
process.
it to work.
I just have to figure out I don't even know what's wrong. It could turn on right now and all work, but I just have to I'd like to find out what's wrong so that it doesn't happen again. Because yesterday everything worked great, except I did plug one thing in differently.
Oh.
And so I'm wondering if that's where the issue is. I got to find the problem so that I can make sure it never happens again.
I've never been on the vMix.
It'll be fun.
I like fun. I like positive. I like energetic.
Yeah. we had
Yes,
some
it was
energy today.
energetic today. It was
Yeah.
great.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
I needed
Yep.
that after our think tank last night, which lacked it severely.
You guys
Yeah.
were feeling my word, weren't you? Energetic, positive, inspirational, and collaborative. Damn it.
We
Damn
were. I
it.
mean, that is just like, I want to like mural the wall or something, go big.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. Yep.
And then you'll be thinking about the hospital program that's also called Epic.
Yeah.
Ooh.
That's true.
That's
It's really
yucky.
freaking true.
Why did they have to call it that? They should have called it
I don't know. It
something
pisses
else.
me off. Like,
Yeah, they just
but,
wrecked
you
that
know.
word.
Again, my word was chosen before any of this stupid hospital bullshit happened. So we're
Yeah.
still live streaming and I'm cussing.